The best day of the week, again, new comic book day. Every Wednesday at this point, if you've been watching, you already know what's up. But if you're a new viewer, we do this every Wednesday. Come on, now keep up with it. Today's pretty epic for me, specifically because there's a big series coming out. I'm sure all of you guys have heard of it. It is exciting to know that they're finally doing what I've been saying they should do, even since I was a kid. Today is the first issue of the new Ben 10 comic book, and they're making it more of, I guess they're making it like quote-unquote more mature. It's like the Absolute universe, so if you read Absolute Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, that's what they're doing with this new Ben 10 series, and I'm excited. It's the same creators that created it back in the day, the same writers, all that stuff. And I'm hyped, because I've been saying that forever. I'm like, do they just need to redo Ben 10? But make it more modern, make it more edgy, you know, make it more mature. You know, the whole lore and everything's kind of already been written, and so everything's there. They're just going to make it more mature. Like the alien designs look sick. So I'm excited for it. I cannot wait to get up there. I know there's like blind bags and a bunch of other stuff. I don't know what my shop's going to have. I don't know. We're going to find out when we get there. If it's still there, because they open in like 3 minutes, and I'm just now finishing my breakfast, so I'll be there a little late. And as anyone who watches these videos, it gets packed. Every time I'm there, I'm like, I can barely get through the door. But I'm gonna knock this breakfast out and then see you guys at comic book release.
He gave up on keeping me in touch. Need a new chemical rush. Now that I'm...
Alright, we just left the gym. I added 30 minutes of like 10 incline on the incline treadmill, trying to cut just a little bit of this stomach fat off so I can get my abs back that I used to have. Yeah, I'm dying, so I'm actually gonna go get me some food. We're going to Chipotle, the absolute best place on the earth. Anybody who watched my Chicago trip video, y'all know what I did. Got that fat burrito, double protein with the extra guac. Come on. Double protein, double everything. Double it all up, let's get it. Fat stack of comics right here. Whew. I'm excited for those. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna eat this up. I gotta eat. We're gonna eat this. Gotta make my protein shake. I've been going extra hard in the gym, like I was saying in the car. I've been doing this extreme cardio, trying to cut this little bit of stomach fat there. It's just blocking my abs just a little bit, and it's driving me nuts. So I'm trying to drop that. So my gym workouts have been longer and extreme, and I'm exhausted. So I need to get some food in me. They didn't have any blind bags. I'm just gonna say it. Anyone who might have been excited to see some blind bag pulls, they didn't have any there. When I got there, I literally got there at like 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes after they opened, and parking lot was full as always. But there were empty spots on the shelves, and I'm assuming those were probably the blind bags. Bro, I don't think you guys understand. Chipotle to me is like a kid who's never had candy before, and he discovers it, and he goes into a candy shop and just eats everything. That's me every time I eat Chipotle. It's like I rediscover it every time. I can eat this every day for the rest. Dude, Chipotle is like my favorite place to go. All right, so we got a pretty good stack here. First thing I got is this Green Arrow Year 1 Compact Edition. It's not really a big one. I'm sure I could probably knock this out pretty quickly. I don't know anything about Green Arrow, and my bro Logan swears by him. So I don't know if this is an amazing story or what I don't really know much. I don't know anything about this story at all. I figured, why not grab this? It's Green Arrow, and these are like $10. So it's Tales of the Green Lantern, Guy Gardner. And first off, this cover is sick. I mean, absolutely sick. I grabbed this purely off. I saw this cover. I was like, I have to know what this is. Yeah, I don't know. It's a new number 1, so I'm definitely going to read it. I've been reading a lot more Green Lantern stuff lately, so getting into this is pretty dope. Get more stories out of the Green Lantern, something that I don't know too much about, although I've been catching up a lot on it. And then we got Superman, Absolute Superman 19, of course. I got the 1 in 25 variant for Daredevil number 2, the Stephanie Phillips run. The first one was absolutely great, and this is like my first time really reading like anything Daredevil for real. I have Daredevil, was it Cold Day in Hell, where he's like older? I haven't read it yet. I have it. I want to get a little further into this run before I read that, just because he's supposed to be older in it, and like if I don't know too much about Daredevil, I feel like it's going to be a little hard to like really understand what's happening there, if that makes sense. First off, this cover is awesome. I think this cover is sick. And now for the bangers I got. So first thing is I got this, I got Ben 10 number 1. I got the Forearms face variant cover. This was one of the ones I saw online. I was like, I have to get this cover. This is exactly how I saw Four Arms as a kid. Like, obviously in the cartoon he didn't look like this, but like this is how I saw it in my head. And I always said, like, bro, they need to draw it, like they need to do it, you know, more quote unquote realistic, more gritty, you know, absolute Batman style, right? Like the absolute universe style. This is how I saw it, and to see that is so sick. I don't know if this was cover A, but I grabbed it in a foil. Pretty sick. So I grabbed that. And then they had a pretty good amount of the incentives, but I went ahead and I grabbed the 1 in 10 incentive, which is a black and white version of this cover, which I thought this cover was absolutely epic. It's got Four Arms, it's got Upgrade, a Diamond Head for sure, and then I think that's probably Stinkfly, and then is that Swamp? What was his name? Wildvine? I think it's Wildvine. I'm assuming that's who this one looks like. Wildvine. That's who I believe these are. The characters are pretty accurate, but some of them are a bit different than how they looked. Like that. So I'm going back to the foil variant here. So it's got Four Arms at the bottom, which looks sick. Then yeah, that's got to be Wildvine that was, because that looks like him here too. Very different looking. Upgrade, Stinkfly. Although this one doesn't have antennas. See, I'm not 100% sure. I'll be honest. I think all the new designs look sick except for Accelerate. Accelerate was one of my favorite, like top 2, top 3 favorite of the original Ben 10 classic aliens, but I don't know why they gave him these giant wheels. Like, I know he had like the little ball between his toes or whatever, but I don't know. I feel like they fumbled Accelerate on this issue. Then we got the 1 in 20 incentive. Absolutely sick. Also in black and white. They had all these in color too, but I just think the black and white's pretty cool. I didn't realize this was a Virgin variant too. There's no logo on it. Sick. I have no idea who this one is supposed to be. He's also on the other cover too. I don't know. I can't put it to a character. I don't know. Super sick though. I also like Gray Matter's, like they gave him like the big brain. Super dope. But that's everything I got. Is a pretty big stack considering the amount of comics I got, but in reality, I only got like 3-4 different stories because the rest of them are just variants of the same cover, or the same story. I'm a massive Ben 10 fan, so I was like, I have to get these cool variants. But that's that. I'm definitely about to tap into this Ben 10 and then talk about it. I do have the Ash Can, and I did read that already. So I've read the first, I think it was 8 pages or something. I just finished reading it. It's tough because I grew up watching the show, and I'm actually about to rewatch the first episode to see what all they've changed. So spoiler warning starting now. First things first is him turning into Four Arms immediately. I don't remember that happening. I remember it being Heat Blast, which he then turns into in this issue after Four Arms. I don't remember him getting attacked by a bear, and I don't remember the army being there. But then again, it's been so long since I've watched it, I don't remember. I do remember Vilgax being there on that the first time, and then him being him tracking it down and sending, I think he sends the other diamond. It's been so long, I can't remember. Yeah, I think it's cool. I think the redesign for Heat Blast is pretty dope. I think the Heat Blast design is pretty sick. My issue, though, is that the original Heat Blast design, I think, was so good. They should have just taken it and made it more realistic looking, instead of adding this version they have, which looks fine. It's cool. But, I don't know. The original Heat Blast design was, so good. It was ridiculously good for a cartoon. The Four Arms appearance was cool. I don't remember if that happened in the first episode. I'm about to rewatch it. And Vilgax looks great. I think this re-up design of him looks sick. Yeah, I think it looks dope. He's always been one of my favorite creatures from any series. I think he's just always been really cool looking. Okay, so I just finished watching the first episode. I haven't watched that in a couple. I think the last time I did a Ben 10 rewatch was probably 7 years ago or so. It's been a long time. But I just finished watching the first episode, the classic series, just to compare it to how they're starting this off. And yeah, there's definitely a lot of changes, but there's callbacks in this that go to this episode. And then I could tell that they're doing a lot more with this, which is the goal, right? But the first thing that I noticed was in the comic, they show Vilgax. Okay, so in the comic, they show Vilgax fully chilling there, almost like Thanos in a sense, right? He's on his throne. He's got some scarring and stuff, armor and stuff on his arms. He's got the robotic arm already. So, I wasn't crazy. I remembered it right. So, because I remember, I was like, I swear that he was not up to par at the beginning. He comes in later. He's in like a tank. Yeah, so he was not just chilling, and that's interesting. I'm curious to know where they're going to take that, why they made that change, because him being in that tank was very important in the beginning of the series. It kept him from not just pulling up. And then a couple other things that were interesting to me was Ben leaves in the cartoon because he's bored, and he just walks off into the woods, and then the spacecraft gets shot down to Earth. Vilgax shoots the ship, it destroys it, and they shoot the Omnitrix down at the Earth. And then it spots Ben, and it goes straight at him. So the asteroid coming down and going straight at Ben and almost crushing him happens in here and happens in the show. That's pretty much spot on. But in the comic, he leaves because him and Gwen get into an argument, and he's like, this sucks. And then he goes and runs off into the woods. Then from there, almost everything changes. Like, almost everything so far has changed. So Ben runs off into the woods, and he runs into this cyborg bear. That doesn't exist in the show. I think it's a callback, though, because when he runs off, Gwen goes, hopefully he doesn't become bear food, right? So I think they're making a callback to that. And then the first alien he turns into in the comic, and I think they did this just out of popularity standpoint, is Forearms. So in the comic, he turns into Forearms first. However, in the show, and I knew I was right, he turns into Heat Blast first. In the comic, he then turns to Heat Blast. Whereas in the show, there is no bear. He turns into Heat Blast, causes a forest fire, and then he goes back to the van and accidentally turns into Wild Mutt. There is no Wild Mutt in this issue yet, so I don't know how they're going to do that. And another thing was, I kept remembering a Diamond Head. I know there's like a Diamond Head that is like one of the people that's in the show later, but he also turns into Diamond Head. I was trying to remember in the show, I thought Vilgax sent Diamond Head after them. And no, it actually was a robot, and then Ben fights the robot as Diamond Head. Whereas in the comic, Vilgax is not hurt. He's also not at Earth, and it doesn't show him shooting down the... it doesn't really show him like shooting down the escape pod for the Omnitrix. He's kind of just following it, and then he's going to go to Earth. So I don't know how that's going to work. Also, the army is in the woods. And either the army is chasing after this robotic bear, or it's chasing after the crashed ship, which was the Omnitrix. I think it's both. So very different, but also a lot of it's the same, right? So there's a lot of stuff here that's extremely accurate to the show, and there's a lot of stuff here that they're changing, which is a great thing because... they said that this will be the best story, essentially. Like, it's going to be, like, the best telling of it, which is exciting. I'm excited to see what they do. But, yeah, no, like, there's a lot of differences for sure, which isn't bad at all. I just wanted to compare the two. I'm just curious why Vilgax isn't in a tank. Like, why he is already, like, just chilling. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with that. Pretty dope. Yeah, that was my rundown of this. Overall, I think this is pretty dope. I think it's promising. I think the artwork's stunning. Obviously, it's that old head mentality of like, oh, they're changing it. That doesn't bother me at all. There are moments where I'm like, oh, like I can't figure out how I feel, but it's just because I'm comparing it to what I remember as a kid. Doesn't matter. It's super epic. Yeah, super dope. I'm excited to see where this goes. I just wish that comics came out faster because I had to wait so long for each issue, man. It's like watching a TV show and watching half an episode once a month. That's how it feels, and it sucks. So, this is basically the first 11 minutes of a cartoon that was 23 minutes. I don't know if cartoons are still like that, but back in the day, every cartoon was basically 23 minutes, and then they'd have the rest of that 30-minute slot filled in with advertisements. So yeah, pretty dope. I'm excited to see that. But yeah, there were definitely some differences too. Like the beginning of the episode shows Ben and Gwen getting picked up by their grandpa. None of that happens in the comic. It's just they're already at the campsite, which is pretty cool. They're eating marshmallows when he runs away. In the show, they eat marshmallows after he's already turned into Heat Blast, and he's just sitting there eating marshmallows as Heat Blast. Or in the show, the Omnitrix jumps onto his wrist as he reaches out. In the comic, it just comes out of the crater and just attaches to his arm, like before he can even acknowledge what was even happening. So it's a little different, which is cool. I kind of like that idea, and it's like it like turns into vines in the comic, where in the show it's just like a solidified watch essentially. Interesting. I don't know where they're gonna take it, but yeah, I'm curious to see if they're gonna do Wild Mutt in the second issue. I could see them just skipping that and going straight into Diamond Head, but then again, like I don't know if they're gonna send the robots from Vilgax's ship, because like he clearly could just go get it. Dude's just chilling, standing and everything. He's not in the tank. He could just go down there and get it. I don't know. I do know that in season 1, if I remember correctly, yeah, by the end of the season, he's on Vilgax's ship and stuff, and they're on Earth and they fight, I'm pretty sure. I'm also excited to see how Ghost Freak is going to look. I could be wrong, but I don't think Ghost Freak was shown on any of the covers, and I know they're going to take that design and amplify it. And that design alone was already like so good. Ghost Freak was so good, so I'm excited to see. I can't wait to see how they're going to change that. They're going to make it. They better make it like 100 times better, because that's one of the best characters. But with that, we are done. That's all I got for filming today. That's all I'm really going to do in this video. I'll see you guys next time as always. And the next time this issue comes out, we're gonna read issue 2, compare it to the second half of the episode. We're just gonna do that for every issue. We're just gonna keep going until I'm sure they'll eventually get to a point where it's completely different than the show, and then there's no point in doing it. But yeah, all right, guys, peace.